Rachel. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. What? I know.
You're here. I'm here. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Dr. Julie Gilbert from Oregon Weight and Wellness here with Rachelle Mathios, Whole Life Health. And we've been chatting even before we got on, just lifestyle, diet. That's been our kind of theme for the last several episodes. And we were just chatting about how confirmation bias enters into this conversation.
Yeah. So we're continuing to riff on diet mentality and compare it to lifestyle mentality, with the idea that diet mentality is kind of the old way you and I and people out there listening have done things, and recognizing that there's a better way to approach our health, and that's with the holistic, integrative thought of lifestyle. All of you, not just eat grapefruits for 6 weeks and lose 100 pounds, right?
Yeah,
so it's a whole different thing. And so this idea came up about confirmation bias, and you and I were talking about it and thinking, hey, let's kind of riff on this a little bit. Let's explore and see how relatable is it? How does it connect? Julie, how would you describe confirmation bias? How would you define it for those people listening?
Right. I guess I would say holding on to, so back up. So when confronted with a new idea or thought, holding on to that doesn't fit my original paradigm, holding on to my original paradigm and not kind of allowing or trying to change the new thing to fit into the old thing.
So it can be, it can, I've read some different definitions, and it sounds like it could be one or the other, or both of those. It can either be resisting anything new, even if it has validity or some truth or some evidence, or it could be helpful, resisting
because it doesn't fit, right? Because it doesn't
fit. It doesn't match with what I previously believed. Or taking the new thing and going, well, how do I squeeze it into my thing too? I'm going to add it. I'm going to make it, I'm going to force it to all fit. And most people probably have heard of confirmation bias a lot in our culture these days. It's applied to thoughts of religion, what you believe. It's applied to political stances, to environmental, to economic, to social, to, these belief systems. The way that we're going to talk about it is as it pertains to our health and our well-being. When we think about what we believe about nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep, our relationships, what do we hold steadfast to? And do we have foundations, right? So we were talking about, like, is there a foundation to begin with? So what do we think about the foundations of health?
Yeah. And I really think that it's important to have a foundation. Otherwise, regarding lifestyle, because, and these pillars we've talked about, it's important to have foundations. Otherwise, we end up kind of like with the diet mentality, and we chase this trend, that trend, and we're like a pinball machine. And we're blown about by winds, and maybe we don't make any forward progress or really protect the health that's what we're seeking to do.
So it seems to come down to having a foundation is really helpful and important. And I think that for the long term, to back up a moment, I think that's why so many people who have followed diet mentality, who got wrapped into diet mentality, can feel a little jaded or bitter, or have a little like PTSD, right? Because they were the pinball machine, and they shot over here, and then, nope, that wasn't right. And then they went here and here and here and here. And the science is changing, and it's telling you, do this. Nope, never mind, scratch that out, do this. and they're jumping on it, right?
Yeah.
And like anything in life, if we have a foundational philosophy of life, it's been called, a way of life, a rule of life, the practices of life. You and I have talked a lot about wellness ways, the ways of wellness. There's like a fundamental sort of way to go about it. What and how would you describe your foundational way of going about health?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Well, so I guess one of the foundations for me would be that there's never one thing. It's this combination of things. Oh, for goodness sake. I really have to take this call. I'm so sorry. Can you keep going and I'll be
go
right
ahead.
back? So
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, that's all right. I will share some of my foundations, some of my fundamentals. I'll riff on what she just said and start there. That there's no one thing. When I think about nutrition, there isn't one perfect only diet. There are many different diet lifestyles and different ways to do diet that can all include whole and real food. And it's not one macronutrient, protein, and that's all that matters. It's all of the macronutrients in abundance and in a balance that work together. I think about, and that's a nutrition pillar of lifestyle medicine. Another pillar of lifestyle medicine is nature. That's one of the newer ones. I don't know that they've officially claimed it yet, but I'm going to claim it as number 7. Nature, for me, one of my foundations of wellness. That is my it's a steadfast truth. Okay, think about a foundation of a home. It's concrete, right? It's not shaking. It's not moving. It doesn't change. Is being in nature. I know the science behind how nature impacts my health and well-being, and that's great. But I know how I feel when I'm in nature. I know what happens to my mental health. I know what happens to my breath, like just my ability to feel like I'm breathing. What it does to my anxiety, what it does to my depression, or risks of those things. I know how beautiful it is, and so how it impacts my heart, and kind of my sense of awe and wonder and like positivity. Okay. Another pillar is exercise, and really it should be, activity, because there's both intentional activity and non-intentional activity. Intentional activity is going to the gym, going for a walk on purpose to get exercise, going for a swim, going for a hike. But there's non-intentional exercise, which is gardening and mowing your lawn and walking to around the grocery store. If you take a shopping trip at Costco for an hour, you're getting a lot of steps. That's unintentional movement, but it's your natural movement. So for me and for the lifestyle medicines, getting regular, constant daily movement. I believe our bodies are designed to move. We're created that way. There's a lot of science. You can look up the science. We are not designed to sit. We are not designed to stay in one place for hours and hours on end. And when we do that, our health declines. Our well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being, all of it deteriorates rapidly. You want to age faster? Sit a lot. It's the new smoking is what they call it. If you want to decrease your ability to move, your mobility, your flexibility, sit more. So movement is one of those that is the foundation. I believe it must be part of my daily every day. And she's back. Okay, so I was just sharing a little bit of my foundations. I kind of started with where you were saying, and you were talking about I can't even remember. I lost my train of thought.
I said, there's no one thing. It's the combination.
Yes.
That adds to our health or my health. And right. Yeah. And then I heard you say, there's no one macronutrient. There's no one, because a lot of times the trends or fads will pull us to and try to is that, this is the magic, this is the magic. And but if there's the foundation, then you don't need a lot of magic.
Right. The foundation stays steadfast. And if I take what I'm hearing out there and I apply it to my foundation, that's my litmus test. I can say, well, how does this align with what is my foundation, with what is stable and true, and be less of that ping pong ball bouncing all around.
Yeah. And I suppose, so we do have confirmation bias, which may not always be a bad thing. I mean, so I always want to be open to new ideas and explore them and test them out, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and it might not be enough to change my whole foundation. However, it might be enough to, change my mind about something smaller, So I can think of a huge paradigm shift that I had 10, 11, 12 years ago, where one of the paradigms that food isn't just food. I mean, food isn't just calories. That's my training, that, my foundation. So food isn't just calories. Food is information.
Yeah.
And when I wrapped my understanding around that, so I had the confirmation bias that food was calories. It didn't matter where or what. It's just calories in, calories out. And then I don't know. I guess it was just, I can't even remember. It must have been I think it was just a perfect storm of things going on, which kind of expanded, opened my mind to say, wow, no, actually food is information. And so I let go of that and brought this, and now that's and you know what? It's not just that. So food is information. What else is information? Well, movement is information to my body. Sleep informs my body. Managing my stress informs my body. So those are my new foundations. And so that's my new foundation. And so everything new coming in, I'm kind of testing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which shows there that you took an old confirmation bias and you tested it against something new, a new concept, and realized, I'm going to change my mind a little bit about this. I'm going to take now what I really see as the truth, because food is calories. It wasn't that it was not true. Food, there are calories in food. It is energy, but it was way bigger than that.
Yeah,
and so you kind of added to your foundation, really. And so, I think what we're talking about here is, and we'll continue this conversation maybe over the next couple of weeks as we explore it a little bit more. And we'd love to hear back from you. Thoughts about this, feelings about this, where it hits, where it resonates. But where I guess maybe we're leaving it today is this idea that when it comes to health and wellness, these concepts of, should I do this? Should I do that? What should I eat? How do I exercise? What's the best? When you're asking yourself those questions, check in with yourself and say, okay, do I have a foundation for this to begin with? Do I have a foundation of my wellness that I know to be true? And when I'm taking in this new information, how does it feel? Do I have a confirmation bias? If it bothers me, why does it bother me so much? I think that's one of the things when it starts to make you like uncomfortable. Ooh,
squirming.
Why? Yeah, if you're squirming. When I hear certain things that are just not true, right? I don't squirm. I go, no, right? I can look at my foundation and go, I'm sorry, that's a no. But when there's something that, maybe I do need to look at what I'm saying. I feel uncomfortable. I don't like it. Nah, don't do it. Right. When I don't like it, that's a growth edge. And I either need to explore my belief more fully to strengthen my belief, or I need to look into this other thing and say, what about this has me all hot and bothered? There's something about that that's uncomfortable. And I need to explore it.
Yeah.
So being open-minded to the possibility that there's different ways.
Right. Yeah, that's so good because that really reflects a growth mindset, which is lifestyle versus, okay, show me that one thing I have to do to get this weight off.
Yeah. Yeah. Great full circle there. That really is the difference. A lifestyle is constantly moving and changing and being open as we change and grow. And I know that the way I do things right now will be different in 10 years. I'll need to adjust my foundation a little bit. I'll need to adjust my lifestyle a little bit to make make room for my different age and my different lifestyle. So where diet mentality is just fixed, it's this or nothing. This is the magic pill.
Right. Exactly. So good. So we'll keep on talking about this.
Let's keep talking about that.
Yeah, let's keep talking. And Rachel, so I was feeling so grateful yesterday. I think grateful is the perfect word for this because I was able to walk across my street and down my little gravel path and pick some tomatoes and pick a zucchini, and I already harvested the onions out of it, and I was able just to put them in a pan and drizzle a little herbs and a little bit of olive oil and roast them in my oven, 300 degrees, low temp for an hour, and everything just kind of and it was so delicious. And I'm going to do the same thing again tonight. It was simple, easy. I felt so grateful, to just for the abundance, plant a little seed and bam.
Yum. Oh man. And so eating that food, you planted it with abundance and love and gratitude, and then you're eating it in the same mindset. That's great. That sounds delicious. I mean, just taking a few vine ripened tomatoes in my garden and just roast them a little bit. I mean, gosh, the flavor it's unmatched. It is you put that on anything and it's like delicious. It's so good. Yeah. Well, that's your dinner tonight. Gosh, for me, we have, what are we doing tonight? I know we have a little bit of leftover spaghetti. We have a little, it's like going to be a buffet, I think, at our house. There's like a little bit of this, but not quite enough for both of us. So we're going to I have a big salad I'm working on. But I've my tomatoes, to answer your question that I know is burning in your heart. They're ripening, friends.
Wonderful.
Rest your little hearts for me. Thank you for the prayers and all of the love you sent my way. They have started to ripen. Now I only have like 10 out there because the harvest is small, but the ones that are out there are ripening. And so I've been doing the same thing, like chopping fresh. And gosh, man, I'm cutting into these tomatoes and they're blood red. They're red from the middle to the outside. Right? There's no white, weird, pithy stuff. It's red. Oh, so good. So I'm just tossing that on everything. And then some spices. So
good.
Sounds like we're eating a lot out of the garden.
Yes, out of the garden, which is so good. Yes. So, all right, very good. Enjoy this gorgeous weather. It's just so beautiful out there.
It is perfect out there. Yes. All right, friends. Until next week.
Bye-bye.